Putin is betrayed because he recreated a Wagner, integrated it into the Russian army as he thought, so they came back to Ukraine, and the very first thing they did is ambush Russian soldiers. Besides that, the Z army attacked New York. Not the one which you might think about, but soon you will know what exactly I mean. And finally, Zaluzhny is now officially replaced. But more about all of this in just a couple of minutes. What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Now let's get straight to the point and talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Oh! So, good one. So, today we have a video from Africa where they decided to open a church of Prigozhin and Wagner. I'm not even kidding. And I'm not sure exactly what the guy is talking about because the video itself is neither in Russian nor in English. But I think it is pretty legitimate to say that this church has at least one member. And most likely the sponsorship comes from Russia. I would not be surprised here. So just guys, please let me know down below in the comments if you would like to join this Prigozhin's church in Africa, or alternatively you can join the Russian dude community. Simply you can just do it by liking this video and subscribing to my channel, and you will continue receiving these unusual, hopefully interesting and funny daily news updates. Thanks so much guys for your support. Please also follow me on Instagram, some crucial updates I'm gonna be posting there over this weekend and I do not want you to miss them. The link to my Instagram is down below. And so yes, since we spoke about Wagner, now let's talk about actually what they did. Specifically, they returned to Ukraine, and the very first thing they did was to attack Russians. Then I'm going to give you a very quick update from the south and the east of Ukraine, and finally the replacement of Zaluzhny. But first things first, Russians are already, and this is official, creating the new Africa Corps, which is basically Wagner under a different name, and they want to increase its influence on this continent. You pretty much saw the church think this is just one of these minor things they are doing, which we might think it's something ridiculous and insignificant. But apparently propaganda, if you push it for way too long, it does work. Even one of the previous reports by the Institute for the Study of War also confirmed this information, saying that there were hundreds of these ex-Wagner soldiers in Central African Republic, and their responsibility was exactly that, to increase the influence and presence of Russia on African continent. But it is not just Africa. According to another report by the British intelligence, there are at least 1,000 Wagner soldiers who are still on the territory of Belarus. They might be used in the Ukrainian war, but right now majority of them are just training the Belarus troops on the territory of that country. And yet another report by the British intelligence is saying that Rosgvardia, pretty much created by Putin personally, is incorporating some of Wagner detachments into its ranks, let's call this like this, and these Wagner soldiers will already be used in the Ukrainian conflict. And they even already appointed a so-called leader of this new Wagner under the nickname Lotus, who spoke about the elimination of Prigozhin and who said that, guys, I was not disappearing, I was always here, Ministry of Defense of Russia did not threaten me, they are good guys, so yes, Wagner right now is under Rosgvardia, is fighting with Russians against those Ukrainians. But he might say whatever he wants, because the reality is very different. Right here we have a video from actual Wagner soldiers who are still fighting in Ukraine, who met Russians, the regular conventional Russian army, and instead of fighting with them, like Lotus mentioned, they fought against them. They kicked them, they fought against them, they put them on the ground, they started making fun of them, taking videos. I don't think that the real Wagner soldiers will ever fight alongside Russia from after what happened with their leader. Way too many things happen in this 6+ minutes video, majority of them will never be allowed on YouTube, but guys, if you want to see the full version, it is on my Patreon, the link is down below. And so yes, now as promised, let me give you a brief update from the east of Ukraine, where Russians attacked New York. And then we're gonna speak about the situation in the south. But first of all, we go to one of Russian cities called Perm, where reportedly a local gas pipe was caught on fire, and reportedly even a train transporting the fuel also got heavily damaged, the one which was intended for the front line. And after seeing this video, the very first reaction of the Russian authorities was that nothing happened. There was no fire. It is fake news. I mean, take a look at this video, and they said that no, there was no fire. Next we have a satellite comparison from Omsk, where there is a pretty much parking of Russian self-propelled artillery systems called Hyacinth S. And this is, as you can see, the comparison between May of last year and the most recent one. And as you can see, not that many of them are still left on this parking, which basically means that the losses of the Russian armored vehicles are very extensive. And obviously, they will be taking the ones fully functioning first, leaving the ones which needs to be repaired to be picked up last. Which basically means that those artillery systems still left in the parking lot most likely not even in operational condition. And ultimately, we have notorious Belgorod, where at this point pretty much every single day something happens, and this last day locals were able to report some very loud noises. Apparently it was the work of the air defense system. And now let's fully switch our attention to the east of Ukraine, and our first stop brings us to Kuzymivka, where Ukrainians reportedly were able to destroy a very big entrenched position of Russians. Next we have this video from the forests near Kreminna, presented to us by elite Ukrainian soldiers from Azov battalion, and they show a complete obliteration of the Russian positions, extremely successful raid. This is more than 16 minutes documentary with English subtitles. It has a lot of first-person footage, and I decided to share it completely for free with every single one of you through my Patreon. The link is also down below. Next we go a little bit to the south, to the area between Bakhmut and Avdiivka, and reportedly Russians attacked New York, located right here. As you can see, I mean, yes, Ukrainians do have this city with this name, and reportedly they were able to attack some civilian infrastructure as they usually do. And then even more to the south, in this settlement Nevelsky, to the east of it, Ukrainians were able to destroy two extremely new Russian T-80M modern battle tanks, which were only created in the end of 2023. So Russians pretty much brought these new machines just for them to be fully destroyed by simple Ukrainian drones in several months. Next we have some news from Avdiivka, and first of all, Ukrainians reportedly were able to destroy another Russian attack helicopter, Ka-52. And besides this, along the entire eastern front line in the last 48 hours, Ukrainians were able to destroy 3 command posts, 14 concentration of forces, 2 ammunition depots, and 3 artillery systems of Russians. But then, speaking about Avdiivka itself, according to another report by the British intelligence, it remains the main focus of current Russian assaults along the entire Ukrainian front line, not just in the east. And as of right now, approximately 18% of this city is captured by Russians, unfortunately, and they try to advance right now primarily from the north. In this breakthrough, as you can see right here, they started to enter the living quarters, these neighborhoods, and they start to get closer to the road of life of Ukrainians, which they use to bring back and forth resupplies and reinforcements, which unfortunately can be very dangerous. But despite pretty much daily combat activities and the city itself being in fully ruins, there are still reportedly 941 civilians who still live there. They keep going with their daily lives, and I absolutely cannot imagine what kind of life they're going through. This is absolutely, I'm literally speechless, guys. Just I don't even know. And well, now let's go to the south of Ukraine. Let's quickly talk about the situation right there, and then we'll talk about the dismissal of Zaluzhny. And first of all, right here is the picture from Mykolaiv, where as a result of most recent Russian attack, entire neighborhood has been severely damaged, with more than 20 residential houses being partially or fully destroyed. But luckily, the Ukrainian air defense was able to intercept 11 out of 17 Russian Shahed drones. Then we go closer to Zaporozhye front line, where Ukrainians reportedly were able to destroy a Russian tank which was trying to advance closer to Robotyne. And then, as you get closer to the Dnipro river, Ukrainians were able to destroy a pretty big entrenched position of Russians located in Kazachye Lagery. Moving back to Zaporozhye, we have a video provided to us by the Ukrainian military where they destroy a Russian infantry fighting vehicle using anti-tank guided missile. And most likely the most impressive video which I received recently, which is also reportedly from the somewhere south in Ukraine, is where elite Ukrainian soldiers were able to perform outstandingly successful raid. So as you obviously know, right now Ukrainians are in defensive position, they try to protect themselves against advancing Russians every single day. So this is already extremely commendable. But besides being able to protect themselves, some Ukrainians along some front lines are also able to advance and attack Russian positions, even the ones which are located geographically higher, so it is even more complicated to fight upwards. And besides this, besides capturing, taking away this stronghold from Russians, they were also able to capture some prisoners of war. This is a 300% successful raid by Ukrainians, which as of right now does not get as much recognition as it should. But at least you guys can see this video, fully uncensored version of it, of the entire raid and also capturing the prisoners of war. And as always, I did upload it on my Patreon. You can always find everything there. Link is down below. There is 1 week of free access for every single one of you to try if you like it or not. Thanks so much for your support. And now, ultimately, let's talk about the dismissal of the ex-commander-in-chief of Ukrainian Forces, Valery Zaluzhny, because now it is official. Zelensky, let's call it, retired him, and now the new commander-in-chief of Ukrainian Forces is General Oleksandr Syrskyi. The very first official confirmation came to us from the official page of Zelensky in Telegram, where he was basically thanking Valery Zaluzhny for 2 years of outstanding service. But he did not just fire him completely, he offered him to keep working with Ukrainian authorities because of his exceptional experience. And like mentioned previously, the new commander-in-chief is General Oleksandr Syrskyi, who was primarily responsible for the defense of Kiev and the counteroffensive in Kharkov. As we know, both of these operations were extremely successful. And now he is responsible for the rest of Ukraine. It's a fresh look, it's a fresh blood, so hopefully there will be massive improvements. Let's see, guys, I'm very excited personally. But besides just appointing the new commander-in-chief, Zelensky presented his requirements for this new position. The most important one is that he, General Syrskyi, should present a very detailed plan of the military operations of Ukrainians for 2024. He should solve the problem with the logistics and help transport the Western military equipment and weapons closer to the front lines as soon as possible. Besides that, the preparation of the Ukrainian soldiers should also be increased and done much better, because wars cannot be won just one single replacement of a general. Yes, it might be an improvement of Syrskyi over Zaluzhny, we will see soon enough, but after all, it will be the regular soldiers who will be bringing the Ukrainian victory closer every single day, and that is why they have to receive proper training and everything they need in order to keep fighting as effective as possible. So once again, guys, let's see how it's gonna go. At very first, when the dismissal of Zaluzhny was announced, it was very controversial, not too many people liked it. Then they started getting used to this information, and right now a lot of people, they resumed their hope in Ukraine, which is a very good sign, because this is a morale boost for the Ukrainian soldiers. And as always, I will keep making these daily updates, and hopefully we see some very significant results by the Ukrainian army in the near future. And if you don't want to miss them, as always, just simply subscribe to my channel. Doesn't take more than one simple click. Thank you so much, patrons, for your support, and see you tomorrow.